Feel that I will kill. Wait, let me chill. On a murder mission like Kill Bill. Still got a cold mouthpiece that'll seal deals. Let me take a step back to meditate. Take another step back to medicate.
Yo, what's going on, guys? This is man Royalty. We're here today, and we're back with another podcast episode. Sitting next to me is the lovely
Lay the Bae. What's up, Royal?
What's going on? And we're giving you that raw,
educated
analysis
of life, baby.
And this one right here is really an analysis of life. This episode
absolutely
is going to be titled "Stigma of the Black in the Black Household." So we both grew up differently and similarly in a lot of ways. So I think I want to start with certain misconceptions that we had, like, or things that necessarily weren't right growing up, but we thought it was right growing up. Like, one of the things was, for me, was in child rearing, where it was, what happens in this house stays in this house.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what it was, you better not go tell people at school what happened here at home.
Yep.
I never understood why when I was younger. It was like, and then
do you even understand it now?
No, it doesn't make sense.
That's the crazy part. That's crazy.
It's like we had to be secretive about this. I can't tell that you just whoop my ass because you don't want people to know. So if that's the case, why are you whooping my ass like that? If people are not supposed to know, why are these things going on? Why are arguments happening and stuff like that? Well, I didn't grow up in a house where arguments happen like that, luckily. So, but it was more the whoopings or anything that was disciplinary wise. I was not supposed to tell anybody, and when I did, I got in worse. Yeah, I'm actually writing about that in my book right now, where it was a situation that happened where I'm gonna break down the situation because I haven't told many people about this.
Yeah.
But what happened was my mom and dad, we had chores, weekdays. I was 12 years old, and my chore was to sweep and mop the kitchen floor, which we had a big kitchen. So that was a lot of work. So I swept and mopped it. I did all my chores for the day. I got some leftover foods. If y'all know what leftovers are, I don't know about you. But I was warming up my leftover food. It was some rice and some chicken and something else. I can't remember what it was. And I was about to sit down on the couch and watch TV. My mom came in the kitchen after me and saw that I had dropped dropped something on the floor. I did not notice it. So I went over there to the floor and I'm like, I don't see it. And she's like, you don't see that on the ground right there? I literally got on the floor and it was like 4 or 5 grains of rice. So I picked it up. My mom yelled at me, you better sweep and mop this whole floor over. But it was clean. Like, I literally had to sweep and mop the whole floor over. And that wasn't the first time that happened where, I got whooped or popped or something where I didn't deserve it. So I watched a TV program where it was breaking down abuse. And at the end of the TV show, I know you remember those old TV shows where it had the little disclaimer at the end. If you or someone feel like they're being abused, please call the number. So I was just like, this is God speaking to me.
It's a sign.
It's a sign. Like,
somebody save me.
So I went and called the police the next day. And it's crazy because I felt so bad afterwards for a long time. Like, because the police actually told me if I was your parents, I'd take your ass back home and whoop you right now. I was like, y'all supposed to have my back. Like, I did something, that made me feel like I did something wrong. Like, I literally did not lie.
Yo, that's crazy.
So I had to deal with that for a long time where in my household, like, I thought I had done the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Me being grown now where I realized I didn't. It was, I told the truth, which was what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
So that's part of my story growing up in the Black household and was not right. I just said it was not right.
And it's crazy that you say that because I have a similar story like that. My mom used to beat us for anything. I'm talking about if she lose something and she couldn't find it, we was getting our ass whipped. And I'm like, but you lost it though. And as I was thinking about, coming together with context, as far as this segment goes, I think that, that whole what stays in this household, what goes on in this household stays in this household mentality, it breeded a lot of liars. I think that we got comfortable with lying.
Yes.
And we got comfortable enough to the point where as we grew older, it was okay to tell a white lie. It was okay for as long as people don't know exactly what's going on, it's okay.
Right.
And that to me is crazy, it's sad. And I feel like nowadays we need to do a lot better with raising our children because there's so much going on. Back then it was just, you come home, you do your homework, you play a little bit, you come back inside. Now these kids have access to so much. And no one is being honest with them. No one is telling them the truth. I don't even think these kids know the difference between reality, fantasy, and the things that they're seeing. So, for me, this topic is so important because again, you went through some things, I went through some things. We're now old enough to understand and put two and two together and say, hold up, that don't even make sense now. As an adult, like that doesn't make sense.
And I think it's hard for a lot of us to, especially a lot of Black people, because we put our parents on such a high pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
And realize that they were human too. So two things can be true. They could have done messed up things to you, but still you love them because they're your parent. Those both can exist. It doesn't lessen your love for them because you say, look, you did this. This was fucked up. This was bad. And I still have to deal with this today because when you grow up, especially in a Black household, I saw a meme the other day where somebody was making fun of me today and they didn't realize I grew up in a Black household. So I'm used to my parents talking shit to me. Like, and it's funny because it's like, it's true. Like,
man,
we would get this is from our parents and we just used to it. So ready for a snapback or, you're not going to hurt my feelings by telling me something dumb. Like,
yeah,
my mama cussed me out worse than you.
right. And what's crazy is that I used to have, so my mother had this thing that, as an immigrant coming into a country, even though my mother came here at 14 years old, she didn't know, you understand? All she knew was how she was raised, her culture, her upbringing. And so she used to say, I work all the time and I don't work so the school can call me and tell me that y'all was fighting. And so we were in fear of that. I was actually more afraid of my mom than my peers. Like, y'all ain't got to go home to this woman. I do. You understand? Y'all parents let y'all do whatever y'all want, buck wild, go crazy. My mama ain't having that. And again, that reflected in how I dealt with people from that age on forward. You understand? And so for me, I just feel like now that I'm a mother, I take it as if this was the best that you can do, I have to accept that. But if you want to have a conversation about how I really feel, then we can do that because I feel like you could have done better. When you know better, you do better. Exactly. And I feel like our parents didn't know any better. All they knew how to do was bring from what they were taught onto us instead of breaking that cycle, breaking that chain and saying, no, I'm going to do better for my child. I'm going to be a better person for my child because remember, our parents were children too. Right. So you feel our pain. You feel where we're coming from. You know why your child, isn't crying. I mean, is crying and hurt and feels like they're not being loved enough and things of this nature because you created that, but you don't want to have a conversation. A lot of parents, for some reason, feel like apologizing to their children is beneath them. You know, you ever seen Matilda, the movie where he was like, I'm big, you're small, I'm smart, you're dumb. And Matilda's smarter than this motherfucker. Like, what are you talking about here? You understand what I'm trying to say? So for me, I feel like, again, we have to break the cycle. And I hope that this conversation breaks that.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Like, I grew up like just like you. Like I was so fearful. Like our parents ruled by fear because of the excuse where I have to work, so I don't have enough time to really break this down to you. So it's even a small thing like asking why.
You be like,
yes, it is just like, and I started being like that when I was a little older. I started saying, well, don't ask me why. I had to start realizing like, no. So my nieces and nephews, like, they're really asking why, because they need to understand 1 + 2, equals 3, or 2 + 2 = 4, so they can understand why am I cleaning this way? Why am I cleaning? Why do I have to wipe this counter down? Oh, because if you don't wipe that counter down, there's gonna be germs and you're gonna get sick. Oh, now I understand why I'm doing it, so I will do it the right way every time. But instead, it was just like, do that because I said do it.
It's like living in a dictatorship.
Exactly.
Living in a dictatorship. I always tell people this when I tell them about my upbringing. I say, I know what it is to eat ramen noodles and I know what it is to eat caviar. And the reason why I use that analogy is because my father's side of the family, the way they were raising me was completely different from how my mother was raising me. I am the second oldest of 5 from my mother, and I'm the third child from my father. But I am my father's first American-born child. And so when I was born, my father's side of the family, they took me in. And so the way my grandmother was raising me was, if you're not going to do it right, don't do it at all. Education is key. I think my grandmother put her hands on me one time and cried about it. But she was always honest. Always honest. You understand? She always said, Layla, I don't want you to be like me. I want you to be better than me. This was things that I wasn't hearing from my mother. You understand? And so for me, I got more attached to my grandmother because she intrigued me. Like, all right, I know you're going to be honest with me. You're not going to BS me. You understand? With my mother, it wasn't like that. With my mother, it just like you said, questioning why. That was a problem. You know what I'm saying? Being afraid to open up, to speak, being afraid of being feminine. Because for some reason, my mother thought that I was afraid to be feminine because she made me afraid of that. You understand? Oh, why you looking at boys and why you doing this? And I'm like, aren't I supposed to be looking at boys?
Right.
You understand? Like, aren't I like, shouldn't I be getting my nails done? Like, you understand? I remember my mother beating me because I had paint my nails. But one thing I can say though is I understand why she did it, but it's not what you do, it's how you do it. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And her approach was wrong, but her intentions behind it were good. And this is where a lot of confusion comes in with children growing up, because a lot of the intentions of our parents is good.
Yes.
It's just the way in which they approach things with us, because they have limited understanding, or again, this is what they know. So they don't know no other way to teach us, to talk to us, to make us feel comfortable enough to come to them as parents and talk about things. Like, I caught my period and my mother said, oh, you in pain? I said, no. She said, all right, get in the shower. My mother didn't sit down and tell me, listen, hey, now that you have your period, you know that you're able to get pregnant, right? You understand? This is how you put on a pad. This is what you're supposed to do. My father's side of the family did that for me. You understand? So for me, it was always like, I was like teeter-totter, but I took the good from this side, I took the good from this side, and I try to put it in between and do my own thing. And after a while, it was like, I cannot wait to turn 17 and get the hell up out your house. Okay? Because I'm going to do it my way. No usher, just my way.
My mom used to tell me, "Oh, when you get grown, you'll understand." And now that I don't see why you made some of the choices that you made. And my mom, it's crazy because her and I, before she passed away, we got some reconciliation, but not all the way because she was not willing to be that person to apologize, like you said, like to say I'm sorry for a lot of the things that she did. Like when she kicked me out when I was 17, from the ages of 17 to like 23-ish, I was homeless, literally living on the street. And I had it in my head that she just thought that she did the right thing. And then for a while, she said she had told me, "Oh, well, I'm sorry." Like in 2015, crazy. So from 2004 all the way to 2008, around 2008, 2009, I was homeless. So it took 7 years after that before she even mentioned an apology.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even a real apology because afterwards she pretty much took it back. "Well, you was messing up. You deserve to be out there on the." Yeah, but I worried about you and I prayed for you while you was out there. And it was like, it was two sides.
Accountability.
Yeah, it was two sides of a coin for her. That's why with me, especially when I deal with kids, if I feel like I did something wrong, I'm real quick to say, "I'm sorry." If I raise my voice and yell at them, "Look, I'm sorry. I did not mean to. You did not deserve for me to yell at you." That doesn't take away from my discipline for them, because I can still say I'm sorry, but look, you need to be better. You need to do this right. I need to explain to you why, but the way I approached it was totally wrong. Because yelling at a kid, especially, "Oh, you're just sensitive." That's so wrong. We get belittled at times, for crying. Like I think every Black person probably heard, "Shut up before I give you something to cry about." It's just like, you didn't give me something to cry about before. You didn't give me something that was traumatizing to me. Like they don't. I don't think a lot of parents back then realized it, and it was just like, "Well, you have food, you have clothes."
Hold on, Roy. I lost audio.
I was saying that definitely a lot of times people didn't like the parents weren't willing to apologize, or they would belittle your mental health for, "Oh, what do you have to be sad about?" type thing. What are you going through when going through life as a child?
That was a big one. "Oh, you ain't got no bills to pay. You ain't, all you have to do is go to work." Yeah, and then we gotta come home and deal with your ass.
Exactly.
I said that was another big thing though. Like, "Oh, you don't have a job, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that. Why are you so tired? Why are you complaining?" Why? Because we gotta deal with you. Because I have to come home and deal with the biggest bully in the world. I used to feel like my mom was bullying me. Like for every little thing. Like, so you're not gonna find nothing right that I'm doing? Check this out, right? So I've always been, I'm gonna say, a B average student throughout my whole scholastic career. And the reason why is because I really did not like reading. And I always felt like doing the bare minimum. You feel me? The bare minimum is what I was given up. And so one day my mother said to me, this is now I'm going into the 5th grade. So in New York, you go from 5th grade into junior high school. That's the next step. So I was still in elementary school. And she says, "Well, so she said," where was I? Oh, 5th grade. She says, "You could have whatever you want at the end of the year if you do good in school." I excelled. When I say excelled, I got more awards than the valedictorian, salutatorian put together. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I participated in so many community service that I got a plaque from the governor that year. Okay. Right. Attendance, 100%. Never missed a day of school. Nothing at this time. They wasn't marking your grades with 1, 2, 3s, and 4. They were marking it E for excellent, U for
Oh,
unsatisfactory,
yeah.
like that, right? So all E's, all E's, all E's. And so end of the year now. Now we at the end of the year, baby. I kept my side of the bargain. Are you gonna keep yours? She never did. And to me, I felt like, wow, like, how you not gonna keep your word like that? I felt like all those times you ever gave your parents some money and they'd be like, I'll hold it for you. And then you ask them for the money and then you're like, oh, I brought you this. That's why. No, no.
They don't realize how much that is devastating to a kid, because you are the example of keeping a promise to them. So like, you get devastated because you
from home.
Yes, you promised me this and you did not deliver on your promise. And the fact is, I cannot see any reason why you did not deliver on this promise. So it was just like, there's no excuses, and it's just go on about life. Suck it up.
Yeah, that's how it was. That's how it was. And it was crazy, right? Because as I think back, I see, yo, we used to do a lot of adult things as children. Again, I'm the second oldest of 5. One of my younger brother was born with hypothyroidism. And so because of that, he was taken care of in a very special way. So I remember us having to get up, get him ready, take him to the babysitter, get ourselves ready to go to school. This is stuff that your parents are supposed to be doing for you.
Right.
You understand? I remember my mother telling us, oh, yeah, she used to leave me and my brother in the house by ourselves. My brother knew when exactly to feed me. Mind you, me and my brother 2 years apart. Like, for me, I always felt like, and this is just my mom, because me and my father, we got a great relationship. My mom, she picked and chose when she wanted to be a mother and when she wanted to be a friend. And I wouldn't even say a friend. I'm gonna say she picked and chose when she decided she wanted to be a parent and when she wanted me to be an adult. But I'm like, if I'm gonna be an adult, let me be an adult for everything.
Right.
Don't let me be an adult for just a little bit of things. No, let me be an adult for everything. Because it's very clear that you ain't trying to be a parent right now. You're just trying to step in enough so that, I don't know what y'all call it on the West Coast, but in the East Coast, it used to be called BCW, Child Protective Services. Also, these type of things, affect, all these things, right? And
it's just CPS out here.
Out here, well, in New York, it was BCW. So it was like child welfare. There we go. It was like child welfare, right? And I'm like, you only doing just enough so those people won't come knocking on the door. But you're not doing. My mother never checked my homework. My mother never even said, do you need help with your homework? She relied on the school to teach us. So therefore, if you don't know what you're doing with your homework, that means you wasn't paying attention in school. How about the teacher mad boring and she didn't explain this shit right?
Exactly. Everybody else getting it, but why you ain't getting it?
And how you know everybody else getting it? You
right.
in everybody else's house.
I had the same exact thing happen because my parents, I was a latchkey kid. People don't know what that means. Like, a lot of people don't know what that means, but I came home and it was just me. So my parents weren't calling and saying, hey, is your homework done? By the time they got home, they had the time enough to make me dinner and they was going to sleep. So it was just like, so I'm getting bad grades and stuff, but it's just like, you guys aren't interactive enough. And I figured, like, especially after 12 years old, when we moved from LA to the suburbs, which was Rialto, and they had to, both my parents had to take different jobs, which were better jobs, better paying jobs, but they also required more of their time.
Yeah.
So they thought they were making a sacrifice so we could live better. But honestly, for me, the area we lived in and the money that we had did not mean anything to me, because when you're a kid, you're really not focused on money like that. You really don't care. As long as you have a toy or whatever, you're happy. It don't matter what toy it is. It don't, like, you are happy in that moment. That I think they sacrificed time for money. And the thing with my mom was the more aggressive one, but my father he was a pacifist. So he appeased my mom. So my mom and him, like, my mom would be the authority in the house. And I didn't realize until I was older, like, my dad was not really the quote unquote man of the house, because what my mom said went, and we all knew that. My mom said it was this, it was that.
look how crazy that is, right? You grew up with both parents in the household. And, this is another thing that, we hear a lot is, oh, maybe if that person would have had both their parents in the household, they would have turned out better. Listen, I know someone who had both parents in their household and turned out to be the seed of Chucky. Okay. And people don't understand that even though from the outside looking in, oh hey, yeah, he does have both parents in the household. You don't know what that person's going through with both parents in the household. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's not all what it seems to be.
Exactly.
And then you can't really talk to the child because the child has been trained not to speak on things that's going on in the household. So now guess what? Now you got to hold that shit in until you probably explode or old enough to feel like shit, I'm gonna let my nuts hang and I'm gonna say what I want to say. I don't care if I'm getting my ass whipped. It got
Right,
to a
right.
point that my mother beat me so much. I used to be like, here, just like, go ahead, beat me. Like I got immune to it. You understand? And so it's interesting that you're saying that because I'm like, I didn't grow up with both parents in the household. My stepfather was around, yes, but that's not my father.
Right, right, right.
And I had a very clear understanding. I'm like,
Yeah, I can hear you now.
yeah, the devil's a lie. Like this. They don't want us to talk about this one.
Right?
They don't want us to talk about this one because this hasn't happened. But it's just sad to see, the things the things that our parents try to protect us from. I understand, but I just feel like they went about it the wrong way. And it's not just me and you, because there's a lot of people that got similar stories.
And I think a lot of them are going to relate to this. And then, like you said, there's some people that grew up in two parent households where they're like, oh, you had the advantage. You had both parents there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, well, you would think so, but it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
like that for me because both of my parents weren't really there. Like there was periods of time where I needed them and they were not there. And then when
Yeah.
they were there, it was strictly for discipline. Like you haven't been seeing what's going on at school, what I'm going through with these bullies at school, or how I'm feeling depressed. Well, I really went through a real depression,
Mm-hmm.
and my mom didn't believe it until she got older and was diagnosed with depression. So she thought I was just faking. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why you was gonna do that? Because you like I actually was gonna kill myself in class at seventh grade. I was being bullied so much, and I felt like they wouldn't believe me. Like I was being targeted. Literally, these bullies were evil. Like they would try to jump me in the bathroom. Like I was all cool with a head up, you know, but I can't fight five boys. Like so, and
Man.
I'm on guard every day at school because of this. But I couldn't tell my parents because by the time they came home, it was just like, what I'm gonna say. You don't ask, hey, how was school?
I never heard that. But that's what I'm saying. From my father's side, I went to go live with my grandmother. I went to school for first grade in that first year. My aunt worked for Verizon. She still does. Um, and she would come home. She would check my homework. Um, they would ask me like, "How are you feeling? Like, are you okay?" They were more concerned about my mental and emotional health than anything else. Of course, education was important, but these were questions that were asked. And the fact that you just said that, like, my mother didn't ask me how my day was, how school was. I went through a small depression myself. This was around, I was like 13, going like 13, 14, like going into high school.
Yeah,
And I remember writing help, help, help on a piece of paper. My mother found it, took it to the school. The school think I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. We go to Woodhall, and everybody knows if you're from Brooklyn and you've been in Woodhall, then the 5th floor. You don't want to be there. But it was the 5th floor in Woodhall, and they brought a psychiatrist, to evaluate me. And the psychiatrist told my mother, like, ain't nothing wrong with her. Like, I think we need to evaluate you, mom. Because it seems no, seriously, this is what he told her because I can articulate how I feel. I can articulate where I wanted to be in life. I can articulate and I had an understanding of right and wrong. It was just simply no one's hearing me. Like, you're not listening to me.
Exactly.
Listen. Stop listening to respond and listen to understand. Children are nothing but sponges.
Exactly.
Little adults that are going to grow up to be big adults. And what we teach our children now is going to affect them later on in life, whether it be good or bad.
Exactly. And you never know when those things are going to manifest in a situation where it could be a relationship where because you dealt with this so much that you're going to be too submissive to somebody and take abuse because this is what you were taught in school, but she's like, oh well, I didn't teach you that, but you did because of your behavior. If things are learned, we visualize and see everything that you're doing, and we're taking that in. It's just soaking it in. We're gonna soak this in. Okay, you do this, so inevitably you're gonna want something that is comfortable for you, which was what you grew up in. What you grew up in that's the comfortable space for you a lot of the time, and you don't even realize it. You seek it out. You seek these negative things out, and not knowing that they're negative because they were what you grew up with, which is it's okay because you grew up with this. These are things that are so traumatizing to the kids. Like, my nieces and nephews, I have a lot of them on both sides, like a lot of them, and I'm able to really connect with them a lot more because I sit there and I listen to them. A lot of people don't. A lot of people are like, how do you connect with the kids so much? Because I listen to them. I can't think of a time where, especially if I had time where a kid says, "Will you play with me?" Where I'm just
Now I
like,
can't hear you.
cut out. Can you hear me now?
You, the devil is a lie. I don't know what's going on, bro. This is funky. This is funky, funky, funky. Because now I can't hear you. What all this technical stuff be happening when we're talking about some real life shit?
Right, we ain't gonna stop either.
No, okay, I won't stop.
But what I was saying is, I just lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, the reason I'm able to connect with my nieces and nephews so easily is because I listen to them. I talk to them. I ask you, how are you feeling? Like, I'm able to just, like I said, like even just like a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old, a lot of times, will stay in the kid's place. Yeah. It's like when I was 5 and 6 and 7, all I wanted was an adult to play with me. If let's say I'll play with my toys, that little 5 or 10 minutes of your day will not take anything away from your day to just sit there and play toys, push this car around with them. Ooh, this is fun. Yeah. For them, it's just like, this is the best thing ever.
That's life, baby.
It's just nothing. It's nothing to do that for them. And I'm able to do that. And like the kids connect with me because I'm like, I remember I was a kid and this is what I wanted.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, my father's side of the family, they understood that. They knew that. And that's how they would treat me. Like, my cousins would play Go Fish with me. They didn't want to play Go Fish, but they did it, you understand, because they were kids too. When the PlayStation first came out, I used to have the Rugrats game, the Crash Bandicoot.
You showing your age now. That original PlayStation. Way back.
And they used to play with me, not because they really probably wanted to, but because like they were children too. I think that people forget that they were once children. How would you feel as a child, you doing what you're doing to me? How would you feel if it was done to you? Matter of fact, it was done to you. So why would you want to keep this going for? Why do you think that this is healthy? That's like saying too, like a lot of Black people don't believe in going to therapy. Therapy. You need to sit down and talk to somebody because Jesus ain't working right now. You need some face-to-face.
That's something that I want to touch on too, was a lot of times in the Black household, the pastor was your therapist. And then you're not realizing that all of your business getting around because pastor can't keep his mouth shut. So such and such kids over there, you know what they did? Mm-hmm. And then don't let it get to the mothers of the church. Because then everybody gonna know your business. Then you get to church and you wondering why they looking at you. Yeah, that's what I'm saying right there.
Sister Martha Nanto, Sister Betty Nanto, Sister Mary Nanto, Beulah over there, and now everything your whole BI is all in the church. And so now when the preacher preaching, he ain't really preaching, he really talking to you.
And
He's
that's
just trying to use the Bible.
And we have all those situations where you've been in church where it's just like, I felt like the pastor was talking to me. He was talking to you.
Oh yeah. He know what's going on.
He know exactly what you've been going through, and that message was tailored to you. So I'm glad Kendrick did that album about talking about therapy, because it wasn't a cool thing to do in the Black household. Because like I said, things happen here, it stays here. Don't talk about that. What they're gonna do for you. I had a real good friend of mine, him and I are not friends anymore because he turned out to be a fake cat. But he had told me something one time. I'm just like, he said, I'm not going to therapy. What for? That's man bashing. I don't want to tell people shit. I'm just like, bro, his marriage was falling apart, and I was trying to tell him, like, bro, have you ever thought about it?
Yeah.
Well, what for? A man bashing. It's man bashing. I'm like, bro, if you go in there and she just takes her side the whole time, that's not the therapist for you. You literally can fire her and get another one.
You paying for it.
Exactly, bro. That's not what it's about. Well, I don't need that.
Now, let me ask you this, because, since we went into, these celebrities and, people now, they're speaking more about mental health. Charlemagne the God, Jay-Z has expressed, him going to therapy. The controversy now that's going on with Kanye and Kanye expressing himself. Let me start off by saying, leave Kanye alone. Just leave Ye alone. But on a more serious note, you can tell even by watching the documentary that Kanye's mother instills something in him that is still manifesting till today. And that, I feel like what she instilled in him was, speak up. Feel free to express yourself in any way you feel. And Kanye's not a gangbanger. Kanye wasn't in the streets. He loved music. And through music, he learned to express himself. And throughout the years, he's seen things while being in the industry where he now feels like he's not saying, oh, I'm jealous of the Jewish people. No, he's jealous of the fact that his own people can't come together, that his own people are not united, that his own people can't have a commodity the way that the Latins, the Asians, the East Indians, the Jewish people do. Now, some of what Kanye be saying be a little off, but if you listen to the man, he's trying to tell you something. But what if his mother would have said, "Oh, what goes on his household stays in his household. You don't get to say nothing." We wouldn't have a Kanye.
Kanye has both ends of the spectrum inside of him, because, like you said, he says the crazy stuff. A lot of times he says some stuff that's real, but sometimes it's like he needs help
with that cuckoo-ness.
He need help sometimes, and honestly, we're seeing someone have a real mental breakdown sometimes in real time. This is real time, and people were like, well, he just gonna walk away. Like a documentary, like dude said he just left. I'm like, for me, it was like, that's your brother. Turn the camera off, man. Turn the camera off and talk to your brother. Like this is not something that needs to be put out. Just like some points in a lot of these interviews, people know what they're doing when they get Kanye.
Yeah.
They know exactly what they're doing. They do it for views.
Yeah.
Kanye, they know Kanye's gonna say something crazy, and then they're gonna be able to clip that up and make it go viral.
But see, then you want to backpedal like R.E.A.L did. You want to backpedal instead of supporting him, because you were supporting him while you was throughout the interview. Now, don't get me wrong. There was parts where Nori was trying to tell him, like, hey, you could tell he was trying to, like, swift him this way. But let him talk. Let him talk. But then when everything now, your back is against the wall now is, oh, I didn't agree. No, niggas stand 10 toes down with everything. You
For
understand
me,
that?
it's like nobody. We're not gonna have anybody on our platform, and we're not gonna silence you.
No,
You can say what you
absolutely
want. Now,
not.
I could wholeheartedly disagree with what you have to say,
Say, right.
but I agree with their right to say it.
Yep.
You could
Just
say
go.
it, and we gonna debate back and forth. At the end of the day, I do not agree with you. That was some bullshit or whatever. But I'm not gonna apologize for something that you said. When Nori came out and apologized for,
Honey.
bruh,
Woo. Woo.
what
Mm.
he said it. So what are you apologizing for? Now you
But
afraid of
see,
getting canceled?
this is what now we got to go back to how you were raised. How we were raised. You understand? By the time hip hop came, well, hip hop was born in the 70s, right? Like late 70s,
Late
early 80s,
'70s, late '70s, early '80s. Yeah.
right? By then, crack was out.
Yep.
There wasn't fathers in the homes like that anymore. So now you're not taking away the person that's supposed to protect, provide, and supply discipline. Now you have all these single mothers out here thinking that they superwoman, they got to do it all. And don't get me wrong, there's some out there that did their things. You understand what I'm trying to say? But when you broke that foundation of a black family apart, here we are 20, 30 odd something years later, and we haven't moved forward yet. I think that, and honestly speaking, we were doing better back in the civil rights movement than we are today. Because at least
Right.
back then we understood and we knew what the fuck was going on. We was in this together. Now everybody's separate. Oh, what affects you don't, what you eat don't make me shit. All right, cool, no problem. But that mentality should only come for when we're having a conversation. Now, how was Nori raised? You understand? Were you raised to stand by what you believe in and stick by your guns no matter what? Or were you raised to, oh, that's not something I want to be a part of because it's not helping me right now. But it was helping you when you had that man sitting for 3 fucking hours.
It ran your views up. It ran your pockets up. It benefited you. But now that we're in this cancel culture shit, like you getting off of it, like it didn't affect him. To me, it was just like I would have came out and said a statement like Kanye said what he said. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you have to do, bro. Like that's all you have to do is just. I honestly lost a little respect for Nori for that. As much as I love the
I
Drink
did
Shots
too.
podcast,
Yeah,
bro,
I
you
did
you
too.
can't apologize for somebody else's actions. You just can't. Like
You can't.
you could do whatever. I'm never gonna apologize for anything that I did not personally do.
Mm-hmm.
I can say I understand that might have offended you,
Yeah. I can
or whatever.
sympathize and empathize with you.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
that was hurtful, but that's that man's problem. Not you got a problem with Kanye. Go talk to Kanye.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Camaraderie is coming together as one. Being a we and I'm saying this because I have siblings and things like that. My mom used to always tell us, she used to say, your hurt should be your brother's hurt. You understand? If your brother's hurting, you're hurting. If your brother is in pain, you're in pain. And so she tried to do it, but again, it was the way in which she was trying to do it. You was trying to force a relationship with people. And I feel like when we force a relationship with people, we get things like a Noriega. You understand, in situations like that, because we're not really doing it from our hearts. You understand? Did you really mean to bring Kanye up there to speak from his heart, for you to listen to him heart to heart, brother to
Not at
brother?
all.
Or did you just bring him up there just so that, your views can go up and it's a good look for the drink champs? You understand? The intentions behind things. This is why I said earlier in the beginning, I said, this segment just taught me that as I was thinking about it, how it created liars, it created cowards, it it didn't benefit us growing up that way 100%. I'm gonna say about mm, I'm gonna say about 45% of what our parents taught us probably benefit us now. The other fucking 55% is what we had to teach ourselves.
Exactly. And a big part of that was unlearning the bad shit that we learned, unlearning stuff that was not good for us. You know, like the fighting mentality or whatever. You can't take that into somewhere. You know, you can't. You know, like my wife and I have this talk all the time where it was like I pride myself in being able to talk a situation out.
Yeah.
And when she said, "Oh, you should have just swung on that person," I'm just like, Nah, I can't do that in real life.
You gotta pick and choose your battles.
Exactly. Well, you could say whatever you want to me. I told her now. My thing is now, if you touch me,
don't put your hands on me now.
But you can say whatever you want, bro.
It's a free country. First Amendment.
If I don't like what you're saying, I have the choice if I'm gonna sit there and listen to it or not.
There we go. You weren't taught that though. You understand? And I, for one, growing up in Tompkins, for me, it was like, yo, you guys are not intellectually, you're not intellectually put together. Let me say it like that, right? Because I don't want to call people stupid or dumb or nothing like that. You're not intellectually there. You don't know how to use your words to express yourself because all you know how to do is fight. So
it's maturity.
Right. You're going to always get into fights. But guess what? You saw your mother doing that. You saw your father handling his situations like that. I read this book because my aunt, again, my father's side, very rigorous readers. I'm talking about encyclopedias, everything, atlas, all that, right? She gave me a book when I was 16, and it's called The Bosick Family. I forgot who the author was. Man, shoot. But the book was about a family who his great granddaddy back in those days was a criminal, and every man after that in his life was a criminal. And so at the book, really what it's trying to teach you is behavior learned or is behavior hereditary? Well, behavior cannot be hereditary because a murderer didn't come from a murderer. I believe behavior is learned. And where do you
100%.
first learn things? At home. I watch my mother lie so she don't have to go to work. Little things like that. You understand what I'm trying to say? I watch my mother do petty shit. And that's why I tell people I'm not petty, I'm vindictive. There's a difference. You understand? I'm not about to sit here and go back and forth with you. We're not about to do that. I learned how to, mind you, my mother don't smoke. My mother doesn't drink. But I watched my cousin smoke cigarettes. I watched my family drink. Behavior is learned.
100%.
If you see me drinking water, you're going to wonder what it is. Is the water good? Curiosity kills the cat. You're going to want to drink this water. Not because you were born to drink water, but because you saw me drinking the water. Behavior is learned, people. What you teach your child today will be with them for the rest of their lives.
Right.
This is why I don't get people who name their children all these weird shit. You trying to be Erica Badu and fucking Andre 3000 in this bitch? You're not them. Okay?
You end up setting your child up for failure. Like you said, I learned something from my mom, and it's crazy that you brought that up because I learned this from my mom, and it's like to be fake with people. My mom would be like the type of person where I get a phone call and I answer the phone, and I'm probably sure that you've seen this happen before too, where it's just like, who is it? It's Auntie such and such. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to talk to them. No. And you get the phone. Hi, I was just thinking about.
You just said you ain't want to talk to them.
You just said you lying. And that kind of taught me that, you have to deal with people that you don't like. But I'm like, I don't. If I don't want this person or this negativity in my life, I don't have to have it.
Mm-hmm.
I could separate myself from that. But I think a lot of times that unity thing that's a bad thing that came from that generation too, was in some forms they were unified, but in other forms, you just had to deal with whoever was bad. Like even as bad as we're going to talk about this on another podcast, which is rape, which was, where, you don't just deal with it because that man is doing something for you, or he's providing for your family. So if you know, don't
Ooh,
what
the
you gonna
nigga
do
ain't
without
the
him?
nigga ain't been born yet. I promise you, he has not been born yet. He has not. But piggyback off what you're saying, my mom. One day there was a teacher, who passed away,
Mhm.
and there was a lot of kids crying, and I'm like, but you were just talking about the teacher like a dog the other day. You feel me? And so I go home and I tell my mom about it. And I told her, I said, but all these people were crying, and these were people who didn't even like the lady. And she's like, she just caught an attitude, like, you know, for whatever reason, she just caught an attitude because I said that. And I'm like, how can you feel comfortable being fake? Like, how do you wake up with a straight face and like that's why I learned how to distance myself from people because I never knew what people were giving me. I'm coming at you live, raw, and direct. I'm gonna tell you how I feel and what's on my mind. But you're not gonna do the same with me. You're gonna actually hold in what you need, what you want to say to me, because you're gonna go off and talk to somebody else about it, and that's how gossip starts. You see what I'm saying? But where did you learn that at? You learned that at home with your parents, teaching you that it's okay to talk about somebody behind their back,
Exactly.
to not express yourself, not knowing how to articulate and have a conversation or start a dialogue with someone so that you guys can get on the same page. Miscommunication breeds misunderstanding. So if you weren't taught how to properly communicate, don't expect your baby daddy to communicate, your baby mama to communicate, your auntie,
Exactly.
uncles, anybody else around you to communicate. If you see for yourself, like, hold up, this person doesn't know how to effectively communicate. This shit came from somewhere. This wasn't just, oh, they just grew up and didn't know how to communicate. You ain't deaf.
A
You
lot of
ain't using
times,
no sign language.
we're seen as the rude people though because we speak our
Mhm.
mind. But look, I'm not gonna let this issue fester. Let's deal with
Mhm.
it now. If I have an
Yeah.
issue with you, I got an issue with what you just did. Now it's up to you. Can we fix this or not? Can we fix this? But I'm not finna go. I always pride myself on being the type of person where I'm not anything I say to you, I can say to anybody else. Like, I'm not gonna say something behind somebody back. Yeah, I said that. Somebody come to me. Oh, you said such and such about me.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yep.
I
I
did.
been most of the time is I told you that. I told you that.
And you know what's crazy though, Roy? That sometimes when people go ahead and repeat what you said, they never put it in context.
Right,
They just
right,
repeating what you're saying.
right.
You understand? Again, this is stuff that you're supposed to be learning at home. You're supposed to be learning this at home. Your parents are supposed to be coming to you and telling you, "Hey, listen. When you have a disagreement with somebody, y'all don't have to fight about it."
Exactly.
I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Beautiful one. My godson, Jameer, his mother and I did not like each other when we were younger. Moving fast forward, he's born, 2009. We become real good friends. Me and this girl had a lot more in common than we had dislikes. And to me, I saw it as, wow, look at that. Us not communicating with each other because you had your group of friends, I had my group of friends, and so we really feeling ourselves like, oh bitch, I ain't gotta talk to you, you ain't gotta talk to me. All that cattiness. Meanwhile, I could have been helping you, you could have been helping me, because we went through the same similar situation. But because we're not taught how to be there for one another, everyone's out for self. We're taught we pretty much taught to fend for self.
Exactly.
What goes on in this household stays in this household. So it's okay that Uncle Johnny been touching cousin Keisha all these years and y'all still inviting this motherfucker to Thanksgiving.
Exactly. If you
That's okay.
if you even have to say something like that, well, you know how he is. Keep the kids away from him. Why is he here?
Ah,
Why is he here? Get the fuck out. No, you are not allowed to be around here. No. Instead of
Have you ever watched Intervention?
yeah.
Do you see Intervention? In the beginning of Intervention, they always show you what they're addicted to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then right after that little segment, they start going into from the very beginning, from when the child was born. And when that child is born, you see all these problems. Mommy wasn't there. Mommy didn't give me enough attention. You either got too much or got too little, but it was never in between, right? And so now these people become addicted to whatever substance that they're addicted to. They don't want to be addicted to this shit.
Right.
They just been going through shit that nobody wants to help them with. Nobody wants to talk about because they were taught not to talk about it.
And it's so easy for people in the family to just say, "Oh, that's just a crackhead," or they talk shit to that family member. Like, I've never been that way either. Like, you going through something right now. Hey, how can I help? I might be smart about it now. I'm not gonna give the if you addicted to crack, I'm not gonna give you some money right now. I'm not stupid. But
I ain't got 5 on it.
I ain't got nothing for you like that, but I got time to give you right now.
Mm-hmm.
Look what you going through. Look, let's go take a ride.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go somewhere where you can get your mind off of this. Just even for a little bit, because you're not doing it because nobody grows up and says, "I'm gonna, mommy, I want to be a crackhead when I grow up." No, nobody does that. That's not what life happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, we got to start really being there for somebody. It starts with as much as how you feeling,
yeah,
and listening to that person. If they say, "I'm feeling fucked up right now, I'm feeling sad," even if it's a 5, 6, 7-year-old kid, why are you sad?
Mm-hmm.
And just you talking to them could bring up their spirits, because you could tell them as an adult, "I feel sad too.
Mm-hmm.
I understand what you're going through, but let's go do something that might bring up your spirits."
Yeah.
And just like that, you stop depression from forming in that kid, or him feeling like he has to keep his emotions to himself.
Yep.
Which we have a lot of that too, where you have people that don't know how to love because they were never loved the right way.
Yeah, absolutely.
This goes so deep.
It goes so deep, Roy, because for me, I grew up Catholic, right? I grew up Catholic for most of my life. I did my confirmation, I did my communion. 2006, my mother converted into Christianity. And so she converted into Christianity because she was dealing with something personal with, her grandmother dying, which is my great grandmother, the person that raised her. And so she brought us into it. And when she brought us into it, I felt like it was being forced onto us. I feel like it was a way to try to get me to talk about things that I didn't want to talk about in front of all these people. I don't know these people. Mind you, my family was the only Black family in a Dominican church.
Oh, wow.
You feel me? So we were going to the Dominican church. We were the only Black people there. So I already feel uncomfortable. Okay? Because it's bad enough I barely want to talk to you. Now you sitting here telling me that I had to talk to them, and they're not even displaying what the Bible is saying, because they worse. They gossiping. They not trying to help. They trying to figure out what's going on in your life so they can feel better about what's going on in theirs.
Ooh, that part right there. Say it again.
And that's real talk. A lot of people don't care about what the fuck you going through. They only care because it makes them feel better about what they're going through. And so how can the blind lead the blind?
Exactly.
How can you help me if you still got childhood trauma you're still going through? How can you help me if you're using your childhood trauma and you taking it out on me? That's not my fault.
And then a lot of times you get people that you try to, shed light on that childhood trauma, and they're so defensive about it. Don't talk about the way I grew up. Oh, so you grew up perfect, right?
My mama.
You didn't. Oh, you talking about my mom or how she raised me. You talk about how nope. They get offensive about their trauma, but you don't realize, look, this was messed up. It shouldn't have happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to talk about this. This shouldn't have happened to you. But you dealing with this now, and then you hurting other people. You creating a whole nother chain of events that with your kids or whoever you interact with, now you giving them your trauma.
Yep.
Why? Heal from you. We got to learn to heal from our own stuff
Hello.
and not push it on somebody else. That's what a lot of our parents did, because they didn't heal from their own trauma growing up. So they just.
That's the $1 million question. How do we begin to heal? Because everybody just wants to throw fucking salt and put a Band-Aid on the wound.
Right.
Nah, this wound is too deep for you to put a Band-Aid on.
Right.
We're going to have to go and do some operation.
Right.
We got to do some surgery here. Because honestly speaking, how many mothers nowadays is teaching their daughters how to cook? How many mothers is teaching their daughters how to be a presentable woman? Because all I see is a lot of twerking going on here. We are so lost because the good that came with our upbringing, we ignore it because there's so much bad shit that came with it. So we're trying to heal from the bad and not taking the good. And now we're raising a whole bunch of robots. These kids know how to use the internet better than me.
The biggest problem I have with a lot of that because for me personally, I don't have a problem with the woman twerking. If you choose to do that with
a
your
woman,
body, yeah. But as a kid, you need to be learning stuff differently. What makes you different from this other girl? Both of y'all can twerk. Okay, that's great. What do y'all have going for yourselves outside of that?
Hello.
Y'all gotta learn something. Y'all don't have anything to show for it. Y'all can't even have a conversation without yelling and cussing at somebody. But you know how to roll a blunt at 15. Like these are things that you learning from your.
It used to be mothers trying to keep their daughters off the pole and their sons off the street, off the corner, right? But now everything is being glorified. Everything that used to be a taboo is okay now. Everything that was a bad thing is no longer a bad thing. So here we are again. How do we teach our children now what is good, what is bad, if we're not displaying that? I can't sit here and tell my daughter, oh, go to school and get good grades if I never did it. I can't sit here and tell her to be polite if I'm not polite. Because she's a reflection of me. I'm a reflection of her. We need to start talking. It's okay to talk. There's a place and a time for everything. I feel like Sundays should be dedicated to the family. Everybody come together in the living room. What happened to you this week? How did your week go? Why did you go? You know, what happened? Starting a dialogue, starting a conversation to where these kids will feel comfortable talking.
Exactly.
Kids will feel comfortable expressing themselves and knowing how to do so. You don't have to yell at me for me to get your point. I can hear you. I'm blind. I ain't deaf. You know, I wear glasses. I ain't deaf. I can hear you. But we need to start having these type of conversations.
Healthy conversations.
Healthy conversations. The devil is working today.
Ooh.
You hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
You see what I'm saying? Like, but my godson, I don't put my hands on my godson. I talk to my godson. I may grab him by his little shirt, tell him to come here, but I don't put my hands on him. I talk to him and I let him know, because he's 12 now. And I let him know everything that you do wrong comes with consequences. I don't reward.
Exactly.
I don't reward bad behavior. I reward good behavior. So when you do something wrong, I'm going to tell you that you did something wrong. I'm going to tell you where you went wrong, and I'm going to tell you how you can fix it. Now, if you choose not to fix it, don't come to me asking me for no money for no Roblox. Okay? Don't come to me asking me no money for no PlayStation. Because it's no. But he understands why I said no. When are we going to start having these conversations with our children?
I 100% believe in controlled exposure for kids
Mm-hmm.
because, like, these kids, they could, like you said, they can work a phone, they can work a tablet, they can work a computer better than they could do anything else. My kids are gonna know how to use them, but not be addicted to them. You can learn how to use this, but hey, there's life outside. Go learn how to do stuff. You know, I'm gonna teach them consequences for your actions because I grew up where I had literal gang members in my family, and my parents kind of sheltered me from it and just said, "Oh, they're bad." I didn't even know what they were. I didn't know that my blood cousins are Crips until I was grown. And so,
That's a good thing, but then a bad thing at the same
yeah,
time.
I feel like
Like,
they
you
should have
could have
told me
explained this a little bit to me,
exactly. Tell me what they are and who
and
they
why
are.
they're bad.
Why this is bad. Why is what they're doing bad? Because if you don't explain it to me, it's just like, oh, they're bad. Why though? I don't see them doing anything. They did the same as me. They doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm bad too.
Mm-hmm.
So controlled exposure. Look, I'm gonna tell you what this is, and I'm gonna tell you, look, this, especially at certain ages, you know, especially high school. Look, this is what this is. Now, if you decide you want to go decide to hang out with this gang, then this is possibly what's gonna happen to you. Jail time. You know, you're gonna be
once I figured out how to cut school, the devil was a lie. Okay? Because I was cutting school. But like you're saying, just like you're saying, is not being able to explain to your children why. Why is it so hard for you to do that? Why wouldn't you want your child to know the difference between this and that? And why is it not good for them, or why you think it's not good for them? Well, hey, baby, listen, a lot of people that are in these gangs end up two places, dead or in jail.
Facts.
How about you take your kid to the cemetery so you can really show them? Ain't nobody playing. I ain't playing with you. This is fact. This is life. How about you take your kids to a prison? Stop putting them on a scared straight program. Take them there yourself.
And let them talk. And let them talk to the people. Let them learn that, oh, they go pretend to be your friend.
Right.
But then when you get inside of here, ask them, how many people wrote you letters? How many of your homeboys really was there for you when you got locked up? Oh, well, nobody. Who put money on your books? My mama and my dad. You learn these things, and kids are really they are smarter than you think. I think
absolutely.
A lot of time we don't give them enough credit because we are soaking stuff in. You are smart. Kids are smart. That's why I always tell my nieces and nephews, you are smart. You are very.
Take this away from them and start giving them books to read. But what is it too? A lot of parents don't know how to read themselves. A lot of parents don't know how to read themselves. A lot of parents don't even. Only thing they know how to do is read urban books. Sweetie, there's more books in life than urban books. And even though the urban books may teach you one or two things about the streets,
it's not enough.
It's not enough.
It's not enough. I always tell people, like, it's too much knowledge out here for you not to be so. I'm still learning.
I was just about to say, I learn something new every day.
I'm never going to stop. Once I stop, I think that's when it's time for me to start dying. I could be 90 years old and I'm still going to be learning something. There's too much knowledge out here for you not to be. Learn something, improve on something. I'm constantly a work in progress myself. I'm still learning how to heal. I'm still learning how to deal with some of the traumas that I have. And sometimes I don't know something was a trauma until I'm faced with a similar situation.
Yeah.
I have to realize that, why did this make me so angry? Because my mama did this when I was.
There we go. There we go. You see how we go back? As much as we want to move forward, people say, "Oh, the past is the past," but the past is the past. But guess what? The past sometimes reflects on your future, affects your future. So guess what we got to do? We got to go a little bit backwards a little bit. We got to go back in time a little bit, correct that, rectify that.
Right.
And let's move forward. Then we can move forward.
Right.
But we cannot sit here and tell me that somebody was raped 20 years ago as a child, and You think that person is right, and they never got a chance to talk about it. They never got the proper counseling for it.
Exactly.
And you telling me you think this person is okay? No, some people make it look good because they're used to it.
They
I
could
know how to
for a
struggle, and
long
you will
time.
never know I'm struggling. I know how to make it look good, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going through something. How many people out the blue just be checking on you and ask you, "Hey, bro, are you good? Are you okay? I haven't heard from you for a while. Is everything okay?"
Very few. I
Nobody,
really we need
everybody's
friends
out
like
for
that.
self. Friends. Oh, how many of us have friends?
check
Okay.
on check on somebody. If you get anything from this, uh, other than the part about the family, check on your friends. Check on people. Like if you really close to that person, it's not going to take you much to drop a text, say, "Hey, how you feeling today?" It's
Mm-hmm.
not going to take much energy to say how you feeling today, and then start reciprocating that. Have that dialogue, even if it's.
Yep.
I know life gets busy. I know it's hard. I know it's you fight like you do, but it's a couple seconds. Hey, okay, I'm gonna check in with you on a Saturday because I'm not that busy on a Saturday, and maybe they respond a couple days later. You know,
Yeah.
keep that dialogue going because they got to know knowing somebody cares about you really, really makes a big difference.
It makes it makes you feel better. It makes you feel better, and it's not just about validating and validation. It's just okay, there's as much bad there is good.
Yeah.
There's fucked up people in this world. We know that.
Right.
But not everyone is fucked up. There's good people. But how do you distinguish those good people? Because those good people, from what I'm seeing now, they're like far in between now. Very few far in between. And so it's like, again, how do we move forward with what we were taught as children that has trickled into our adulthood? And now that you have nieces, nephews, children ourselves, how do we break that? And so we gotta be crafty and start thinking of ways in which we can hold the attention of these children to where we're teaching them something
Exactly.
other than these rap lyrics. Yo, more rappers have died now than they were when shit was really like when niggas was really getting it.
Right.
Right? Uh,
I
what?
think at a certain point we could talk about that on another podcast.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It was the fact that back then a lot of people understood that look, this black man went through shit just like as much as I went through. Fuck that nigga. Yeah, but
Mhm.
I'm not gonna mess up his bread.
Mhm.
You know, like, this world is big enough for the both of us. Look,
Yeah.
just don't book me in the same vicinity as him. Ja Rule and 50 Cent. They just had a thing where they was just like, look, do not book me with 50. Do not book me with Ja. We cool. Like we
We
don't
have
have
an
to talk.
understanding.
I don't have to. You do you over there, and I'll do me over here. It
A
was just like
mutual understanding.
that's all you need for these rappers today. But they just think, oh, they got to pop off to show how hard you are with the no taking L's thing. I don't understand that.
Yeah, they want to, but you know what that is though? You're a coward. You scared to get your ass whipped. Scared to get your
Hello,
ass whipped. You understand? You win some, you lose some,
but you live
but you live.
5 minutes.
Okay? Come on now. Come on. You know what I'm saying? Like there's just certain principles, values, morals that we need to start instilling in our children now more than ever, because this world is like
Right.
so much going on, but you got to take the good with the bad. You got to take the bad with the good. Social media, all these platforms, they're not bad. It's just in the way in which you're using them to reach the children. Are you doing it because you care about your community and the society, or are you doing it just for a couple of fucking clicks, my man? What are you doing it
And when
for?
you are, it's obvious. We see it. We see what you're doing it for. Like
What is your purpose?
I love the Drink Champs interview with Shaq because he said, "I'm a doer."
What?
You can talk, woo, 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 woo. You
Yeah.
can do that all day, but what are you doing? What are you doing to steadily improve somebody's life? Be out here in the field, really getting it. Do something for somebody, and that's what
Just reach out and touch.
this has been really great and deep. I feel like we can
Yes.
go for like another hour, but
Like it's just like calming now. Like we were able to get that out and things. And what's the best part about it though, Royal, is that you and I have come to a place in our adulthood where we have healed.
yes,
No matter how we healed, we have healed from our trauma, from and probably not all of it,
right,
but
right,
the majority of it. To where we can have these conversations. Because before there was a time where I couldn't talk about my mom because I would just cry. I would just end up just crying because that's how hurt I was,
I feel you.
because I felt like no one understood me then. So why the fuck would you understand me now?
Right,
But it wasn't until I was by myself. I had to heal myself. I'm talking about a lot of fasting and praying, baby. Okay. And so for me, I'm grateful for you for even, God giving you this platform and then bringing me into this platform where we can now come together and show the world, hey, listen, he has his opinion, I have my opinion. We agree, we disagree, we come together. You understand? We laugh, we joke, haha. But there's times where we need to be serious. This is a serious moment. And so let's have that. Let's talk about it.
this has been a
Why
serious
not?
episode, but I'm really happy we were able to have this dialogue because a lot of people are going to be able to relate. And the people that are watching, I would love for you to share your stories down below,
Oh yeah,
comments.
absolutely.
And also, if you want to come on and share your story with us too, then
Yeah.
this is an open platform for everybody. And we really care. We're not doing it just to get views or something like that. We care. So if you want to come on here and share your
You don't
story,
have to be a celebrity. You don't have to be a battle rapper. You don't have to be none of that. If you just a regular old Joe and you feel like therapy isn't working for you or you don't want to talk, you just want to talk to some regular folks, we're your peoples.
we
We are
got you.
here for you.
Well, when this is dropping this coming Friday, I think that'll be what, the day before your birthday, or will that be your birthday? This will drop on your birthday,
No, that'll be my birthday.
the 28th. So, in honor of that, and the 31st being my mom's birthday,
Happy birthday, Mom.
we're gonna take a week off, you guys. So we're gonna take a week off. So that week we won't have any content for you. So we'll have 1 week off. But also, I am releasing my music project called King Uncrowned on the 31st.
Hello.
So
We
so
moving, baby. We working out here, okay?
I want
Everybody
everybody,
want to be famous, but don't nobody want to put the work in.
right?
We working.
I want everybody to give Lay the Bae a happy birthday in the comments. And I'm also gonna put her Cash App down there. So if you want to send her some birthday love,
Hello.
yeah,
Then why, so you see, then why we partners? Because I don't even gotta say nothing. I don't even gotta say nothing. He already be thinking it. And I don't gotta say nothing. You see what I'm saying? That's why I say men lead, women follow. That's why I'm not a feminist. It's all I'm saying. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So and also be looking out for the project King Uncrowned. Like I said,
Yep.
I do want to share a little bit about that.
Please do.
It's been a long time coming for me. Like I've been rapping since I was 16, but to be able to sit down and make a full project, like I've released songs here and there, but never really a full project of music. Like I was going through it. I have 12 songs, possibly 14, but I might possibly 14. It's
But
two of
those
them.
are like
I'm
extra
not sure.
bonus.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm gonna release the last two because they're not all the way finished yet. But 12 of them are done. The project is done. Runtime 40 minutes. It's a mixture of songs. Some gangster stuff, some music you could dance to, some music where it might make you cry a little bit.
As it's supposed to.
And that's definitely lyrical stuff. No mumble rap here.
I bet it.
I, I couldn't do it if I tried getting the losing. Nah. So this is a big for me. So I really appreciate you guys watching and everything. Like I said, I've been Royalty Real.
And this is Lay the Bae.
It's been real, y'all. Peace.
Verse 1, I mentioned this heavyweight. It's something I deal with to this very day.